Hi there, I'm Lisa Starr, the Grow Well educator with We Work Well, and today we're speaking with David Suzuki, the president of Biotherapeutic, which is a manufacturer of medical and spa devices. David will explain more about them, but you may have seen them at a We Work Well or other event. Beautiful pieces of equipment for use in treatment rooms with advanced technology. So welcome, David. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having us.
It's our pleasure. So we're interested in speaking to the vendors about, this is a trying time, obviously unprecedented, and how are you managing to stay in front of clients at this time when trade shows are not an option?
Yeah. Well, I think for us, we've been very fortunate in that we have a very robust online education program for all of our technology owners and product users really around the world. And so we got started with this probably 3 or 4 years ago, and we've seen the sign up and participation go up literally about 1,000% since the pandemic started. So the timing
Amazing.
couldn't have been perfect. So in that way, it's really been fantastic. We have a lot of other things that we do as well. We have our once a week Zoom classes, both for our domestic market and our international market. That's been fantastic. I mean, we've had some classes where we've had 500 plus viewers at
Wow.
one time, which is really fantastic.
That is.
Yeah, and we also have zeroed in on our bespoke one-on-one FaceTimes, Skypes, Zoom meetings, and things like that. Our own Annette King is doing a whole host of one-on-one business consulting meetings with our stockists, and so that they can talk about everything really from their menu to technology, to their cost of goods, to their social media. It really runs the gamut. So it's a really fantastic way for these individuals to take that time and to really rethink their model and refine their model, do a lot of those things that we just normally don't get a lot of time to do. And then the last thing I would say is that when it comes to schools, which we do a lot of participation with schools around the world, we have got so many schools that we're working with now, more so than before the pandemic, because of the online Zoom meetings and the educational classes that we're able to offer. And it's really neat because the teachers, of course, can be part of the panel, so they can speak to the class, they can ask questions or whatnot, and then the class can all participate as well. So it's really a fantastic situation. And I really see this kind of model not being something just for now. I really think it's going to be something that sticks with us moving forward.
It makes you sorry you didn't have stock in Zoom before, right? I mean, I've used it for a while, but
Right.
never like I have in the last 4 weeks. I think I spend 5 hours a day on here, but it works well. It's easy, it's intuitive, and you're finding, to your point, that we don't maybe need to fly somewhere and be, we can do a pretty effective job this way and use this technology to a really good purpose.
Yeah, it's been really it's been a good evolution in that way, for sure.
Especially, as you said, for schools. I mean, your equipment is technical and it probably needs a higher degree of training or explanation on the technology. So it's great that the instructor can really show it that way.
Yeah, and then I think the other thing that's fantastic about this situation, when the schools can't be technically in session in their brick and mortar of their actual schools, they can still be productive, and they're still holding class, and they're still having outside vendors such as ourselves support them and give them our curriculum as well. So it's really kind of a cool thing to be able to be part of in that way, and just to see things go on, and for everybody to find a way, as they say.
The way out is through, right? That's what a saying I read yesterday. So
Right.
what are you doing in terms of community or industry support? Do you have any initiatives around that?
Yeah, we have a women's shelter that we hold very close to us, and literally is very close to us, about 10 minutes away, called Mary's Place. And we have historically always donated and given to them skincare products. We just sent them a whole load of backpacks that we had last week. And so that's a really, really special situation for us. Sometimes I feel like some of the smaller ones are often overlooked because maybe they're not quite as out there in the front. So a lot of people don't know about them. So that's really, really special for us, and we'll continue to do that. For our professionals, we have been offering free shipping across the board to all of our professionals, regardless of whether they buy one product or, you know, a whole load of products kind of thing. So I think that that's really helpful. We've been running some really great specials. We have right now, I think 20 or 25% off across the board on everything on our website. That really helps them. We have some great programs where we drop ship directly to our stockist customers. And so our professionals can continue to engage, which we strongly encourage them to, with their customers. And so they can consult with them, they can speak with them, they can teach them, you know, in a Zoom such as we're having right here. They can also help build their regimen and take their orders and then have a drop ship directly to their door so they can start using that at home. So that's really been fantastic. Some people have really been taking that to heart and really doing a lot of it. Now, of course, we drop ship to directly to customers for those skin therapists who also have their web shops in that sort of a fashion. So I think also when you think about this, it kind of makes you wonder a little bit why we hadn't done a lot of this before. And so I think that there's a lot of new ideas, and it's frankly very exciting to see all the evolutions and the different things that have come from this that we just simply didn't consider, I think, because we didn't have to before. Now that we have to consider it, it makes you start to think, why would I ever stop doing it? You know, so.
It's funny you say that. I personally don't usually spend a lot of time on social media, but I've had more time lately, and I've been stunned at how creative and innovative people have been with their postings and their ideas. And I think it's interesting to press the pause button, if you will, and make us just stay in place where our minds have gone. You know, now you said you're also a medical manufacturer, so to that point, have you changed anything in the processes that you're working on in your factories now due to this situation?
Yeah, we are an FDA medical device manufacturer. We're also ISO 9001 and ISO 13485. That just means that we adhere to the highest levels of quality recognized for medical device manufacturers on a worldwide basis. We do have our skincare range of technology and products, but we also have a full medical range that's used exclusively by doctors. They have some really, really exciting things, our doctor group, that they're working on. They're now doing a new clinical study on a whole new frequency program that uses our microcurrent technology. They are using this specifically for viruses, not just the COVID-19. But viruses across the board. So it's been something that I guess has been known for quite some time. And I think this, again, just stimulated a new focus on it. So we're really excited to see how those clinical studies come out, and very honored and proud to be part of this, even in a small way as the manufacturer of that technology. So we're really excited to see what comes from that. From a skin therapist standpoint, yes, all kinds of things in development, really, really exciting things. We have just finished the development of our infrared touchless thermometer. This is something that I think is going to be necessary really for all of us as skin therapists, but I really think in every industry where we're servicing people, whether it's a massage therapist, whether it's a nail shop, whether it's a hair salon, I think even restaurants and things like that, we need to be able to actually test ourselves to make sure that we're healthy and safe to be servicing people. We need to make sure that our team is healthy and safe. And then, of course, we need to make sure that our customers are also healthy and safe to be in for service. So I think that these are going to be really the way of the future. So again, it's an infrared touchless thermometer that you can quickly get their temperature to find out if they're adequately in good health from that standpoint. We also have some really cool silver ion masks. And so those masks are basically, again, your face mask, but they're infused with silver ion. And silver ion is something that we're really, really big on because we have been all about silver ion. So everything that we manufacture that has anything such as silicones and things like that, even, for example, our little BT Sonic here has basically silicone, and this is all infused with silver ion. And the factor of silver ion is that it is antimicrobial and antibacterial, in real time all the time. And so that's one of the reasons why we've been really into this. We have it on our BT Vision. So we basically have silver ion in every part that basically actually touches the skin therapist. So it's constantly antibacterial and antimicrobial. And we now actually have created new masks that we can wear as the practitioner that also have silver ion infused in it. So those will be more permanent types of masks. You can use them up to 50 times. You can wash them in the machine, and you can sterilize them in that sort of a fashion. You can use alcohol sprays and things like that. But again, they are antimicrobial and antibacterial in their natural state. And then we're also developing some new shields. We have some really amazing new shields that we think are going to be fantastic for all practitioners, including hairdressers, to skin therapists, to physicians, and whatnot. We have one that we're just finishing the engineering on right now that actually will attach to the current BT Vision. So it will be an additional plastic piece that we're just finishing the injection molding on right now that will clip to the BT Vision, and you'll have to be able to actually have your shield here. So you'll be able to wear your shield, your mask, of course, your nitrile gloves and things like that, and have your thermometer, and you'll be ready to go. You'll be ready to service people. But I think that this is really the way forward. I think this is where we're going as skin therapists. I think that as much as us being safe to service, we need to make sure that that customer feels safe to come in, because they don't really know who we've been in contact with for, the time before we actually are giving that service, for the 14 days prior to that. And we don't know where they've been either. Right. So it's very mysterious. So we just really need to take all those precautions. And we think that this is going to be the type of gear that we need for opening our skincare centers again.
Mm-hmm. Well, it sounds like you've made great use of your downtime, all those innovations. I'm really happy about the touchless thermometer. I must get 15 emails a day asking me to buy one. So now I know I can get it from you. That will be much easier.
You can.
But I think you're right. I think that this situation, spas have always been hygienic and clean, but this is going to highlight that. And I think some of these changes will stay in the way that we do business going forward. It sounds like you're thinking that as well.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think things have, it's funny, you watch television programs or movies and you see a lot of big groups and hugging and just a lot of really close interaction. And it's funny because, we've already started to change those habits and really change a new way that we think about things. And so it almost seems a little bit odd sometimes when you'll watch something where there's big crowds and people really closely interacting and things like that. Obviously, I don't think that's ever going to go away, but I do think that we are going to be quite a bit more cognizant about what's going on. If you think about our culture historically, 3-4 months ago, it was very unusual to see a person walking around on the streets of Seattle, for example, with a mask on. You just didn't really see that because it wasn't really part of our culture. At the same time, if you go to Hong Kong, where I spend an immense amount of time in Hong Kong, it's completely normal. It's completely typical. A lot of people have always worn masks there and do wear masks there. It's part of the culture because of close quarters and just a lot of the activity that happens to go on over there, sort of a thing. So I think these are going to be those things where we are now very much more cognizant. I think that it's going to be mainstay to be in grocery stores with masks. I think it's going to be mainstay to have gloves on all the time. I think we'll have different habits in the way that we shop. I think online that we've seen surge recently is going to not go anywhere. I think it's just only going to get stronger. I think a lot of the places that maybe had brick and mortar before and we're kind of considering whether or not it made sense, I think probably this is a time where it will push it past that threshold. So I just think that there's a lot of things that are changing, and I think it's very monumental times like this that sometimes will push it past the line of being more definite. And, I can relate some of those changes that are very similar to the last recession that we had. There was a lot of that kind of a thing that just changed after the last recession that never really came back.
Well, we learned a lot of lessons in that one, right? And the difference to me here is that we're all in this equally. There's no anybody is not escaping from this. And to your point, humans we're not that fond of changing our habits, but being forced into the stay-at-home situation and for a length of time, you know, 8
Right.
to 10 weeks and longer, I think you're right. I think it is going to change some habits. So we'll see. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's good to see that biotherapeutic is certainly well situated, and you've thought about these devices are going to be very useful for us going forward.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, thanks again for your time today, David. It was great to chat with you and hear about what you're doing, and I look forward to seeing you. Maybe we won't hug, but we'll fist bump the next time we see each other, hopefully in person. Thank you so
For
much.
sure. Well, thank you for having us. We're very honored to be here.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thanks again.